Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm gonna try to make this video quick because this editing software for some reason just does not go well after 6 minutes of time passes, so I'm just trying to make this kind of quick. I also literally just talked about all my points about this, and then the video crashed, so I'm just going to try to make this as quick as possible. So let's get into this. We're here to talk about Ridley Scott today. Man, we talked about Ridley Scott a couple years ago, and the man's got some issues. I don't know what's up with him, but over the years he's just been really full of himself, really talking a lot, in an egotistical manner, just kind of just always referring to himself in a certain way, kind of pushing himself above others and here he is again, kind of doing that. And I kind of wanted to just highlight a little bit, kind of pointing out to just how he talks and all that. But just to get into it, so he made a statement about Hollywood, and just to abbreviate, just for sake of time, um, he was talking mainly about just the quality of films. He was saying that most of them are shit, and that often wise films are saved by VFX because there isn't a lot happening in terms of the screenwriting process. And eventually, someone asked him because this was all happening at a like career reflections thing at a BFI thing in London, and they asked him what about his comfort type movie, and he had this to say. He said, "Well, actually, right now I'm finding mediocrity. We're drowning in mediocrity, and what I do, it's a horrible thing, but I've started watching my own movies, and actually they're pretty good, and also they don't age. I watched Black Hawk Down the other night, and I thought, how in the hell did I manage to do that? But I think occasionally a good one will happen, and it's like a relief that there's somebody out there who's doing a good movie, you know? And it's it and apparently he's talking about plans for Gladiator 3, which they're not going to happen. Um, but uh, here's the thing. Um, I understand what he's coming from with this because he's mainly addressing, Hollywood and about the state, so probably more or less in mainstream culture. And then he, admits that there is always that person who comes along and will make something of quality. But the whole idea that your films somehow, watching your own movies, somehow provide more um, quality, as it were, to outpace what's out there right now. Just you see what I mean, like the egotistical manner, that he comes across as. I just want to point out, if we go to the Wikipedia, the past 10 years of this man's career, um, really only two films of his have made money in the past 2 years. That would be The Martian and Alien Covenant. The rest of these films have not made him money, have not made any money for the studios. All the Money in the World flopped, Last Duel flopped, House of Gucci barely made bare minimum, Napoleon flopped, Gladiator 2 flopped, and you're talking about Gladiator 3, yeah, that's not happening, buddy. Um, the man has not made money for the studio in the past 8 or 10 years. It's been about 8 or 10 years, almost a decade to this point, has he not made the studios any money. And even some of those mediocre films that he's talking about, they end up making money in some regard because it's catering to audience interest. But there's a spirit with Ridley Scott that I don't personally like. I don't particularly like the spirit of how he addresses things because it always feels in service to himself and more propping up of himself than actually making a genuine statement on things. You know what I mean? It never feels like you're actually addressing things. It feels like you're more filtering in um, your own self. Like you're like, oh, my movies are way better. I watch my own films, and this shit is good. It's like that kind of spirit. It's just like doesn't come across as a good um, good, healthy conversation. It just is a field for like ego, you know. And I don't know why this is just like lately, over the past few years, it's just like he's been like this. I have a video that I'll link at the end of this that you'll see. Like it's just he's always been like this. It's just weird. But yeah, I do agree with what he's saying in terms of just the overall state of like mainstream Hollywood, because of course there is this this kind of I guess you could say identity crisis within the viewer, because there's a lot of things that are being pushed out and audiences don't seem to be receptive to them, or just wanting to show up even if they are receptive. Looking at Ridley Scott's work, you have pieces that most of these, I mean, are received well critically, but also majority of these films don't end up getting attention. Even something like Gladiator 2, which Gladiator 2 was, I think, a just a poorly managed production, because you go from the first film, which is like what, like a $70 million thing, to that which was pushing to $300 million, and you're expecting that film to then become a $1 billion type deal. It's like it was never ever going to be that way. Um, so I respect him as a filmmaker, as an artist. He's made some of my favorite work of all time. Um, but I just have never loved the way his attitude towards the addressing of film itself. Just never comes across as genuine to me. So as I will title this video, he is his own worst enemy. And kind of similar to Martin Scorsese, where it's like these guys, they're just kind of fool themselves, even though they've made great work in the past. Lately, depending on how you take to it, it's either fine. In the case of Ridley Scott's films, as of late, I've never hated his films as of late, but I just never cared for them either. Like Gladiator 2 was all right, Napoleon was all right, so. And same thing, Martin Scorsese. It's like Killers of the Flower Moon was good, but not great. Um, Irishman was better, but that was, again, a few years ago. We're talking 2019, like almost like freaking like 6, 7 years ago. So I just feel like some of the ego being flexed around here is just kind of just nonsense. Curious how the comments are. Yeah, a lot of people pointing out yeah, like he's not wrong. Yeah, he's not wrong with what he's saying in terms of just the content type of the content relating to Hollywood, but yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I've noticed this for a couple of years, and I just wanted to bring it up again because it's just something with him. I don't know if it's also maybe he's getting a little bit older, because apparently he's 87. I don't know if it's just one of those that just doesn't give a shit anymore. He's just gonna just say what he feels, just say how he feels, or but doesn't make it right. It doesn't make you look less. It just makes you look like a prick, if you ask me. But those are my thoughts. I just wanted to just kind of bring it out, just because I read this just now, and I'm just like, man, what is with him? Like, what is with him, man? He's just been like this for years. But let me know your guys' thoughts on Ridley Scott. Just how his comments, just what he says, your thoughts on him as a filmmaker as of late, and just by general, how you feel about his work. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.